This is a class. This is so this person one becomes a variable whose data type is of this class person. So this person one automatically becomes an object of class person.
You're not sharing.
Oh. I'm showing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is class person, and this is the object of class person. This person one is of class person. Now, yeah, so that's it. Class person is a class, person one is an object. What I did right here on line 4 is that I created an object of class person. And yeah, the computer allocated some portion of the memory for this guy, and then the address to the memory is saved in person one. Yeah, so person one variable is not holding new person. You're just holding the location in memory where this new person is kept. More like, what's a good example of that? Can I give an example of something that is, um, um, okay, your account number. Your account number holds, maybe you have maybe £50,000 in your account. £50,000 in your account, or dollar, okay, in the US, $50,000 in your account. Now you have an account number. When you look at your account number, you use your account number to access your account balance. Your account balance, that particular money, $50,000 that reflects in your account, is not directly in your account per se. It is just a direct, just that with your account number, you get where the money is actually kept. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Did you hear me there?
Yeah.
Was that a shallow example? Just got the point. The point is that the variable person one is not exactly holding the new person. It's only pointing to where new person is kept in the computer memory. Okay, what that means is that 5 people can point to the same place. 5 account number can actually point to the same place. Possibly. Yeah, people can even route multiple phone numbers for one phone number. Do you understand? Yeah, so that's just it. So the same thing for this guy now is, it looks like we are describing called class. Now simply create another guy. I call it a class, a car. If from what we have, from what we have seen here, our design says every car a branch. We have a branch. Every car should have an interior. Every car should have an engine. Every car should have a model. From this design, we can therefore come here the same thing, create a car, and do car, and do model, sorry, do new car. Yeah. In this case, the same thing, I'm just going to decide to move that. I'll do car one dot, then this guy to car one. Okay, so this is it. So with this now, we already have a good Now we can take it a little further. I'll take it a little further, which is if you check this gender, it appears that this gender can only be male or female. I believe so. Okay, maybe because you guys are in the United States, anything can happen. But then,
Yeah.
but depending on what the application are, this is not even about culture. It's about the application you're building. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, let's say in the application you're building, you know you're only cap. I have to be culturally correct. I beg, politically correct. Based on the application you're building, let's say your application only cater this approach. Somebody can actually put G. It will be accepted, but it will not make any. It will create a subtle bug in your application. Because this gender is directly accepting anything. Now, in cases where you already have predefined values that certain variables can have, for example, now it's married. It's married. You already know it's married is usually true or false, which is this gender is actually giving. This is married that's actually giving you only two possible values, that true or false. What if you want to have something like marital status instead of that kind of expression? Let's say you want to have marital status. And within your application, you only accept that their marital status are either single, married, or depending on what you are designing, single, married, divorce. It doesn't matter, but just what your application is trying to capture. Now, I've only said that I only need single, married, and divorce. If I do the approach, it's likely that the user can do singles. It's likely the user can even do widow. So, or widower. So Java now gives you another system where you can actually set a definite range or definite values that the particular variable can hold. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Now, those definite values are called enums. Enums in Java. So just like you create paths, you can actually come and create something like enum. It's a new class. You look at this enum here. What's the enum? I want to call it marital status enum. Now, this enum, you just take a comma separated list of values. In your design, the only status you have are single. Usually they like it in capital letter, but that's your choice. Married, maybe divorced. These are the three statuses that your application can cater for. And that means that inside this person, you're going to force it, instead of giving a data type of string, you now give it a data type of marital status. What that means, therefore, that the only value, just like you have Boolean, true or false, what that means, therefore, the only value that marital status can hold will be any of these values. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Is it difficult to grasp?
No.
Okay, so here in this place now, I cannot just give widow. And in fact, to make it more difficult, I cannot just give single. It's still an error. I cannot just do marriage to throw an error. That's the difference between that guy. So in order to get an actual value now, Java will force me to call this marital status. This marital status, I will call it, I will say marital status dot single. With this now, Java knows that I'm setting single. Do you get it now? the same place here. I believe I don't want to assume myself I'm married though, so I just don't marry here. For here, person 2, marital status. Then let's say David, I'm not sure if you're married. We do marital status dot. Let me assume you're single. Okay. Person 3 dot marital status. So Daniel, I'll be using your name as an example before you join this class. So
Okay.
So we come here and choose marital status. I'm going to take you as married. So Elizabeth, person, I have to chip that in just so that the class can be. So Elizabeth, we're going to take as married. Now, do you see that? So we have been able to limit the error that is likely to happen in the application by virtue of passing the wrong value to marital status. Just the same way I did for marital status, I could do for gender. Because in our system, you only cater for male or female, M or F. So I've come here to do new class. I'll do gender. Mistake. I'll just change it anyway. And for here, what are your gender? If you want to put M and F, fine. Or in my case, I want to use male or female. It makes sense. Let's do male or female. I'm not going to be typing offer. Or you can do M or F4. So here, that gender is going to be true. So I'll come to that my person and say, oh God, gender it's not going to be this anymore. It's going to be marital gender. So obviously there will not be an error. So instead of gender here, what I'll have is gender dot male, gender dot male, gender dot male. Elizabeth is gender dot female. That's good. So so with that, we have reduced the error. We have done two things now to reduce error. Now we have created an enum to hold specific range of values that we can assign. Now, the next thing that you may probably want to cater.
We can't hear you.
like my network.
I have data, at least it's 4.4 megabyte. Hello, David, Daniel, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, apologies. Oh, not sure what happened. But can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. I was trying to quickly upload something. Just give me. Hello, David.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ah, is it my network or I mean?
Yeah, I think it's your network.
I've had to change my network. It should be better now.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Sorry about this one. I need to find a more reliable. Okay, so I think this is already bad. Okay, so this is just all we're going to explain here. That I was saying that this, the way we have designed this, we have reduced the error that can come from the setting of this value. I'm back. I believe you can hear me now. Daniel, please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Apologies. I don't know. Network can be an embarrassment sometimes. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen too.
Yes.
I want to get into something very important. And so here, as at this point, I think I explained this. The next thing is that for age, assuming your application, you have only captured that age should be between 18 and 35. So for somebody like John, he's not actually supposed to be in your system because he's actually older than 45. For somebody like okay, John is the only person that's not supposed to be in that class, but John is older than 35. Now, I'm just saying that just like you had constraints around the values of marital status and values of gender, you could also have some constraint application-wise over the other kinds of the variables. So you had liberty to change them. Now for something like age now as 45, you want to be able to say age that is the only age you permit should be between 18 and 45. So the best way to do that is that age should not be accessed like this. So the first thing you do is that you force that the user cannot access age. Let's move it to the other view. Move to the opposite group. Yeah. First thing you want to do is that age should not be accessible to the user like this, to the point where they can set the value. Are you following me?
Hmm.
So in this case now, in order to make age hidden from the user, you're going to come here and then put it as private. When that's set as private for person, automatically age becomes an error because user does not have access to age anymore. Age has a private access, meaning that outside this particular class, outside this particular file, age cannot be accessed. Age is not available. So here, age is an error now because user cannot access age anymore. That's the first thing. You're going to hide it from the user. Now, having hidden it from the user, you now want to set how the user can actually put the value. Now that you have hidden for the user, and the user still has to enter value for it. So you have to now create a way for the user to change the value. That way, in this case, is called a setter. It's called a setter method. A setter method is a method that you use to set the value of a variable. Don't forget, you had this kind of variable before, this kind of method before. Yeah, method has something inside the bracket and all of that. Now in this case, you're going to create a setter method. The setter method will now have we can call it, you had this public static void before. You now have to create a method basically, you just need the word void and the name of the method. In this case, the name of the method here is that you want to set the value of age. So by convention in Java, setter method has to start with the word set. What is the value you want to set? Age. You understand? Then Markham. Yeah. Now, if you want to set the value of age, the next thing is that you need the actual value you want to set. You have to, this method will now have to take some value, like main method takes argument of string. In this guy now, you have to set the value you want. Now it's int, call it age to set or something like that. Or given age, just give it a value that makes it difficult. Given age. Yeah, in our case now, we now want to set the value of age. What we now do, basically, just like you did here, person age equals to 45, you now do age equals to the new age that was given just now. Now, just by doing this, in order to get it to value of age now, I will have to say dot set age. So instead of equal to 45 now, 45 will now be inside this bracket. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Now that's not solve the problem. Don't forget what we want to do is that the user should not be able to pass anything more than 18, anything outside 18 and 35. So what you want to do is that before you set the value, you want to check some things. Before you set this value, you want to check if age is less than 18 or age is greater than 45. So that's where the if condition now comes in. I want to say if the new age you have given, the given age is less than 18, I want to throw an error. I want to throw an error. Another thing, if age is greater than 35, you also want to throw an error. Do you understand?
Mhm.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So in this case, age is less than 18, you don't want it. So you can now throw an error. Now I'm going to just get ahead of myself. The kind of error you want to throw here, basically, you can just throw any error. But for now, to throw an error in Java, use the throw keyword. And just forgive me for now. Use the throw keyword. You now also throw new and throw a runtime exception. If you don't understand this, just ignore. But this is just the way to say that this application will throw an exception. What's the exception? What's the error you want? You say age cannot be less than 18. So that's the description of the error.
So what if we say age is equal to or greater than 35? Will that be an error?
Age is greater than or equal to 30. It depends on your application. We want age 18 to 35. So 18 is inclusive, 35 is inclusive. If somebody has entered 18, it's a valid date, a valid age. If somebody has entered 35, it's a valid age. In case where you don't want 18 to be included, like you want anything 19 to 34 or something like that, you have to do less than or equal to 18. Or greater than or equal to 18, something like this. So in this case, I'm going to throw, is Danny on this call? Hopefully understands this too. And the age cannot be greater than 35. To confirm, I'm still recording now. Okay, so that has solved the problem here. So that means that anytime the thing is greater than it will, anytime the thing is less than it will. Okay, now from what I've seen, these two guys look connected. If age is less than 18, you throw an exception. If age is greater than 35, throw an exception. Now, from what I've done, I want the computer to check this guy independently. It is possible for an application. So if I do else here, now what has happened is that if age is lesser than 18, this will throw an error. Then if age is not less than 18, it will now come and check again if age is greater than 35. So in other words, we have connected these two guys together, saying if this is true, come and check if this is also true, something like that. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Now, the other way is to put all of them together in one block. You want to say if given age is less than 18 or oh, sorry, it was to be given age or not. Given age of people. Given age is greater than 35. You want to try to throw new runtime exception, say invalid age is not um, age is not just call it invalid age, basically invalid age. Now this guy, simply the summary of this guy. What they're saying is whether either of these thing, if either of these condition is true, we want an exception to be true. If this is true, throw an exception. If this is true, throw an exception. That's what I've just done. Either this or this, throw an exception. So anyway you do, it's fine. The application is telling me that it will never get here. Particularly, it will never get here. So it will never get here. So I comment this guy out, but I think I prefer this approach. So so that's it. So if I run this application now, you'll see that it will throw an exception, which will tell me invalid age. So let me just run it. Is there any other error I need to catch here? Okay, this age too. I need to change this age to set. All the places I use age. Okay, so that's it. So if I run it now, no error. If I run now, expect an exception. You see the exception? Do you see? Exception in trade main, invalid age. Do you see that? Can you guys see this?
Which one are you talking about?
Are you saying this invalid age?
Yes.
That's the error. Because I have set the value of age as 45. Application is telling me that it's an invalid age. Now, different kinds of exception to throw. This time I'm throwing a runtime exception. I can throw actually an illegal state exception or illegal argument exception. Do illegal argument exception. So I run this now. Illegal argument means that it's not the proper argument you want.
Okay.
Yeah, illegal argument exception. So please, do you understand to this point?
Yes.
For it too. Very setup for it. I'll do void set name. In this case, I'll give it string of new name or something like that. So how do I check for a string that has so how do you do that now? That becomes a serious matter. So there are actually many ways to do that in Java. But I'm looking for a way that is quite easy.
What are we trying to do? Sometimes your network is not clear.
Okay, go. Huh? This is last time, you know, so one month. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I know what's up. Yeah, you have to stabilize and see what happens. So yeah, what we can do, I'm looking for a way to check if name has anything that is not alphabetic. So the way we want to do is we want to check each character. Because Java does not really have that. I don't want to mix it with Python because I write Python too. Uh, um, you want to check if regular expression, use regular expression to match if this thing contains integer. Um, like we have not the regular expression, so we just use the simplest approach. The simple approach is that Java does not really have a direct way to check if something has numbers in it or something. Yeah, does not have. I can use regex. Don't know if it contains integer. So what I would do is that I would simply, one way to do is to look through each of the characters inside this John and then check if they are numbers. Do you understand? So what I would do is to do a for loop. I've not done this before. I'll just see is that I want to look through each of the characters in this guy. So I'll just do something like a for each. I'll do for char. Each of the character, don't forget that if you split John into stuff, now what you have is JOHN. J becomes a char. So for each char, CH in in um, in the new name that we have provided, then error. Yeah, I'm going to do word of string dot to char array. Correct, something like this. I'm just going to convert it to all the individual strings. So in this case, now what I really want you to note is not this logic, basically. I'm just trying to show you that in case this logic is difficult for you to grab, what I just want to show is that there are times where you want to really have control over the value that user give to the properties of your classes. And that's the essence of having these setter methods. That's just the what I want to communicate. Or if this is clear, fine. And we'll still get to those all this logic later. What I would do is to now check if ch is alphabetic or if character is alphabetic is digits ch. You now throw an error. So new illegal state except illegal argument except illegal argument exception. With there because a name cannot contain integers. it cannot contain integers. So that's it. So that's it. If it loops completely, if this loop completes and this thing do not throw any error, that means that you have a proper value. So you can now do name should not be equal to a new name. In this case now, this is going to be set name. So this same issue exists here. I'll do set name. Okay, that's fine. So but for this Elizabeth, I want to deliberately make a mistake here. I put 78 inside Elizabeth here. Let's run it and let's see what happens. Do you see that? Okay, there's an invalid age somewhere. Let me change that guy to, actually I'm 25 years old. This is now, name cannot contain integers. It now comes to tell you the line number. It tells you the line numbers. In this case, it tells you it's line 28. You can see line 28 is where our error is. It tells me the error is in person class, line 28. That's where the error was thrown. But the error propagated into line 27 here, which is this place. So in this case, I would have to change this. If I do this now, and we run. So you see that there is no error. Please, do you understand to this point?
No, it's a little bit confusing though.
So what was confusion?
Like when you were dealing with the so these sets, I'm trying to see. Maybe when I watch it the second time again, because I mean I can get what you're doing, but I don't know if I'll be able to do it by myself or I mean when I watch it again, because I was
Okay.
having some to ask, but
Okay, so I will just do the same thing for car. I think I've exhausted the options for person. I exhausted the options for person. And then so I'll come to car. In the same car, you got the whole idea. The whole idea is that for within your application, this thing, we're not trying to mirror the cars in the world. You are just trying to design what you are looking for. For example, for brands, you only have some specific brands that you sell in your organization, or you have a list of brands. Yes, a specific set of brands that you support. So in that case, you have to create a possible value that user can enter. That's the essence of an enum. I select enum, and I do car brands. So in this case, we support. What are your cars? What are your cars? Give me car brands. And see this.
BMW.
Is that your car?
Yeah.
Okay, what other one?
Volvo.
Volvo. Um,
Ford.
yeah, Ford. And let's just stop there. Now, these are the although you can increase the number after, but these are the ones that you support. So in this case, instead of string brand, you now have to do car brand. And see that. Now, let's now zoom for the year. You don't support any year less than 2008 because you're a forward-looking company. You're encouraging your customers to use cars that are quite recent. So of course this is already wrong. I have to do car brand. Usually okay. What else? Now the same thing for age, for the year of the car. I don't want to be accessed outside. Number one is that I don't want user to enter any age that is less than 2008. The whole idea of the setter method is that you don't want user to have direct access to your variables like this. Number two, you want to, it gives you some level of power over how the user can actually use your variable. If I just do like this, the user can enter 2024, 2019, 998, 997, and may become bug in your application. So what you just need to do is to be able to have power over the information in your that user is here. Then is that you make it private, but the user cannot access it. When you make it private, then you now have to now create a way for the user to access it. The way for the user to access to get the value, sorry, for now we're only doing with the setting for the user to actually set the value. In this case, you want to have setter method. In this case, we now do void set here. Set here. You have to collect the new year. Follow int new year. Most times you are not doing all these checks, but I'm just trying to show you some of the reasons you do some of these things. Here, so I can now say if year is less than 2008, I'm going to throw an exception. Throw new illegal element exception. Go to valid year. If there's no error in the year outside the if block, I know I've not done if block, but I'm sure it's quite easy to understand. Outside the if block, you will just say the year now equals to new year. So that's it. Please do you understand it?
Yeah.
So in this case now you do set here. The other thing I did not tell you, I'm not sure if deliberately or what, is that the moment this guy is private here, okay, let's just take it gently. So that's just the basic thing really for car brand I've done for a year. You can also do engines. Maybe there's no, this engine user can actually put any kind of engine which does not make sense. 90, it does not make sense. So you can have your own engine support. Oh, sorry, I was wondering. So I'll do car engine. In this case, what are the engines we have? I know V8.
V6.
V6. V10. What car uses V10? I know there's this, what's the name of this car that uses V12? It's one Mercedes that uses V12. I lost the name. Okay. Well then, Crotcheck. Is it Crotcheck? Yeah. Is that the right pronunciation?
Corvette.
Call it again.
Corvette.
Is it Corvette? I lost the right pronunciation. My name is Cross on Fisher. Verse 12. It becomes one of the fastest car. I think it was competing with, was it Bugatti there or something? Or Lamborghini? No, it's
Or
Bugatti.
Ferrari.
There's no Ferrari. Okay, Ferrari is known to be the fastest car, but there's a car that matches it in terms of Raymond, I forgot this car. For this car. It's Crotcheck something. Okay, I lost it. I remember. My name is Crotch. You gotta give me. I forgot it. I remember. So so that's just it. We're not in the car class. Just okay. So in this case, where I'm now setting engine of V8. So that's it basically. Now, even though I've made a case for some of them in Java standard, this is actually what you should be using, the setter method. I had to consciously give you a case for it, set here and legs. In Java, you should not be doing dot brand equals to car brand Toyota like this. You should be accessing using the setter method. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to just make a case for individuals like this. So even for this engine that you have done it, Java say you still have to use your private. Saying that one of the principles of OOP called encapsulation. Encapsulation says that I should not what's the right word? You should not display implementation details to the user. Encapsulation, think of a capsule. You don't even know what makes up a capsule. You only drink it and you know what it does something in your body system. Or you only take it. Think of a car steering. You don't do any, you don't know how the stuff communicates with the shaft, the wheels. You don't know how they communicate. Is that if you hold your steering, you drag it to the right, your tire back and front turn in a particular direction. If you turn it to the left, your car direction. That's all you know. You don't know what has happened, what was locked inside. You don't even know the electrical component of that, the mechanical component of the steering. This laptop now, you don't even care the electrical combinations, the motherboard, how it's communicating with the keyboard. You don't know. all you care about is that you press K, it appeared on the keyboard. You press the power button, it goes off. You try to turn your camera, it comes on. That's all you need to know. So that means those details are actually you should be blind to them. That's the whole essence of encapsulation. Encapsulation says that you should bundle in a class everything that makes up that class. The only thing that should be exposed to the user is what they need to use. In the case here, car brand is not necessarily useful to the user. All the user want to do is to set the car brand or to get the brand of the car. Does it make sense?
Mhm.
So in this case, you keep it private. So in other words, simply put, the property and method should be bundled in a class. That's encapsulation for you. Encapsulation. So the property and a class should be bundled together, and the property should be termed private, and the public should be termed, and method should be termed public. Only the part that you want the user to use private, then you make public. There could be some methods that are actually to be private, you leave it as private. Those internal details should not be private. So by default convention, all variables in Java in a class following the encapsulation principle, all variables are actually private. So by that, you are now forced to create getter and setter for each of them. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to watch you create a class and create a getter and setter method for each of them. Now, the same thing I've done here, I've created a setter method. This is a setter method. And from the word setter, I'm using it to set the value. There's another one called getter. Getter, I'm using it to get the value. In other words, I'm going to do, I'm not going to do void, but let me just show you void, get here, get here, and nothing is inside. All you want to do is to be able to get the new year. What is the, you want to get the actual year of this class. It's supposed to be here. Usually you want to print it out, Abby, but in programming, the person that is calling this method might need it for something else other than printing into the screen. If I do this out, print it to the screen, it means that this method is only useful when I want to print the year to the screen. But there are times where you want to use the year. What if you want to use the year for other things? You want to use the year to know how old the car is compared with today's year. So use the year. There are many things you want to use the year, but you're not printing to the screen. In that kind of scenario, you will not be able to use out because this is only print to the screen. So the presentation of the variable or a value, you leave it to the user. You leave it to the user. All you need to do is to provide the user the value, and the user can decide whether they want to print to the screen, they want to send as an email, they want to display it on the browser, or they want to keep it somewhere in the database, or anything. You don't force the user to print to the screen if they don't want to. Let the user be the one to tell you that I want to print to the screen. So because of that, here I'm not going to use this print word. You are going to use print only when you are sure in this case you want to print to the screen, which is not the case in our scenario here. So for this purpose, Java introduced the word return. There's a return keyword that Java came with. This return keyword is more like saying that, okay, you have told me the year, I'll give it to you. Take it, do whatever you want with it. That's just return. Whoever called this get here, whoever got to get here, whoever calls it will be able to get the actual value here that is coming with. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So what something like this, I'm trying to say maybe car one to get here. When I do get here now, I can decide what I want to do with get here. I can say, okay, I want to save the value int here. Used to do something. I can decide I want to print it. Print the year. I can decide I want to save to the database. I can decide I want to use it to do something specific within the application. Does it make sense? I believe so. Now the next thing is that The moment you use this the return keyword in Java, the moment you use the return keyword in Java, you are supposed to tell us the data type of the variable. This year now, what's data type? Integer. Abi?
Mhm.
So instead of void here now, you now have that data type int. Okay. What is simply saying is that you are telling whoever is calling this get here method to expect an integer return. So whenever you call the get here method, computer knows that it's supposed to expect an integer. Anymore. If I change this guy to double, any of the data type, because now the application is expecting the application is sending you a double. You now want to save it in an integer. An error. So do your double. You'll be fine. Or you want to force the guy to be an integer. You want to force the guy to be an integer, you can put in bracket integer like this. It will force it to be an integer. But that's not what we want, so leave it. So do this guy now. Is you understand this now?
Yeah.
So that's an example of a setter and a getter method. So if you don't mind, share your screen and create a class, then maybe two variables. Create a class called student, or create a class called, yes, student, and get the email address and the course, the name of the student, the email address, and the department. Let me pause this recording.